everyone, I'm Dominique Sharpton.
And I'm Ashley Sharpton.
And although you may not know us, you probably know our dad.
So Dominique.
Yes, sir.
The Reverend Al Sharpton.
I call him Rev.
Whatever.
Growing up under our father's wings was definitely a unique experience.
Yes, we've got some stories to tell.
I didn't know you knew that. That is correct.
That's the last time I do y'all show.
And we have some friends who want to share their unique experiences and stories as well.
That was your mama that just won an Emmy. You'd react the same way too.
So please join us for our new talk show. We are
The Sharpton sisters.
I forgot. Sorry. The last line. I forgot.
Welcome everyone to the Sharpton sisters. Today, we're talking about staying true to your dreams at every age.
Our guests today are Etienne and Ivy Maurice. They are the children of actress and diva Sherly Lee Ralph.
Hello, Etienne and Ivy.
Hey,
Thank you so much.
how are you?
So, your mother, Sherly Lee Ralph, has had an illustrious and long career. She was an original dream girl, she played Moesha's stepmom, and she just won her first Emmy for her role on Abbott Elementary. And we just honored her at the National Action Network's Triumph Awards, along with her husband, Senator Vincent Hughes.
Yes.
I mean, does it feel like your mother is finally getting the recognition that she deserves?
Well, yeah, I think what's so amazing is that, people are just catching up. We've dreamed this for our mother for pretty much all of our lives. So the fact that people are just now waking up and realizing the power and the essence that is Sherly Lee Ralph, it's, as son and daughter, we're just proud.
And I think we're also true and firm believers of aligned timing, a divine timing. I think my mom has always been aware of her talents, her gifts, and everything that she has shared with this world. And so, hey, I think she knows that this is a time in her life that she's going to savor and enjoy every moment. And as her children, we are going to support her in every single moment moving forward. And like we already have prior to her winning her Emmy.
There's a TikTok that I love. It shows you both at the moment that your mother won the Emmy. It went viral. It was everywhere.
Sheryl! Yes! Oh my God! Yes! 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 Oh my God! Yes! Yes, mother! Yes! Oh my God!
That was incredible. That was crazy. Your excitement was beyond. Has your mother seen that clip? What was her reaction?
She heard us. She heard us when she was giving the speech. We were screaming.
Oh my gosh!
And I always tell people, I was like, yo, if that was your mama that just won an Emmy, you'd react the same way too.
That's absolutely.
We both pulled out our phones because, I from jump, like I knew that mom was going to win, but then you also have the sliver of, doubt. Well, what if it doesn't happen? But yeah. We both made sure to turn on our cameras so that we could document this moment.
Oh, such a real, surreal moment. Oh my goodness.
The rest is history.
Amen.
What has your mother taught you about it getting greater later?
I think the best advice my mother has ever given me personally is that life is all about choices. And I think my mom has made the best choices in her career to allow her to be in this position in her life. So it was down to the characters that she chose in her career, down to her being our mother and how she raised us. So honestly, life is all about choices. And I think that is something I will always carry throughout my entire life. And I'm so grateful for those words.
And I think for me, my mom has always told me to be as kind as you can for as long as you can to as many people as you can, because the same butt you kick today might be the same one you have to kiss tomorrow. So, I'm a firm believer in treating everybody that you meet with kindness, because you never know, you might need them down the road. I could even talk about my mom now after having her win. There were some people that weren't as kind to her in the beginning of her career. But now everybody want to pick up Sherly Lee Ralph's phone call, So, people are always going to remember how people treated you and how people made you feel. And that's always going to stick with people. So it stuck with me.
We know her for so many cherished roles, but can you tell us about the career bumps or lows you saw your mom experience and what that taught you?
No, I remember, I talk about this a lot. When after Moesha had gotten canceled, and I remember my mom brought my sister and I into the room and just told us that, life was going to be a little bit different. We're going to have to make some adjustments, but I think what I admire about my mother's resiliency is that no matter what, she made sure that she was going to protect and do the best that she could for my sister and I. Whether it was, going to different speaking engagements. And I'm sure y'all know with your father, all the speaking and all the traveling that he has done throughout his career. Sometimes you feel like, well, dang, like, where is mom? Where is dad? Like, why aren't they here with me? But then as you get older, you realize, well, they were working. They were providing for us. And as a kid, you don't necessarily realize that until you get older and you appreciate how hard that your parents have worked. They just work in different circumstances. We don't have the luxury of having our mothers or fathers with us every day because they got to go out there and they gotta serve the people. So we're grateful.
I don't know if it was like that for y'all, but for us, we had to schedule a time with our dads where he had to be home with no phones, no calls, no meetings. And it was just our time. We had to actually schedule it ever so often where he was just with us. Did y'all have to do something like that too?
Not really.
Yeah, no.
I think it's
That's good.
Lucky y'all.
Lucky you.
it's always been pretty organic. I think my mom has always taken family time into consideration. She loves resting. That's one. She's the queen of sleep.
Yes.
We love being able to see her relax. But also, I think when we are all together as a family at the Emmys, after we went through all of those parties, all of those cameras, all of those hellos, goodbyes, congratulations, we really just enjoyed each other's company and sat in her little suite after the award show. And we just sat as a family and just talking about our dreams, our hopes, our desires, our wishes, what we want, how we're going to expand our family in the future. So those are the little things that I really appreciated, because it's I think people could assume she could have been off doing whatever she wanted that evening, but she was at home with her husband and her children. And that's what I really appreciate most, is that I can say that, wow, my mom has really devoted time, energy, and love into our relationship.
What has been your mother's greatest piece of advice about reaching your goals?
Oh, you have to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. You have to be able to love yourself and be that person that you see for yourself, because that people are going to see that. I think we come from a Caribbean household, and there's one thing that we know is the importance of legacy. We come from a woman, Miss Ivy Ralph. She was my mother's mother, and she was an immigrant from a little town in Jamaica called Chantilly, Mandeville, Manchester. And she looked up in the sky and she saw a plane and she said, I'm gonna get on that plane and I'm going to get myself to America. Now, did she get on that plane? No, she got on a ship. She got on a boat and she made her way to Miami and finally somehow made her way to New York, and then her life started a life for herself. So it's that same type of resiliency that we have coursing through our bones, coursing through our DNA, that gives us the motivation and gives us the inspiration to be our best selves, that we can be whatever we want to be.
So something I'm curious about. Is your blended family, your father is Eric Maurice, but your stepfather is Pennsylvania State Senator Vincent Hughes. Tell us about that experience and what it's meant for you.
Yeah, I remember when we first met Vincent, we were kids, and it was very difficult because our mom was dating somebody new that wasn't our father. But what I saw a big difference in our mother's relationship to Vincent is that there was real, palpable love. And we saw our mother in some of the most happiest days we had ever seen her. And, I thank God that my mom has met Vincent, because in some of our darkest days and some of the worst experiences that we've had in our lifetime, Vincent was right there. Vincent has had the fortitude. He's just a man of strength. And we've noticed that behind every strong Black woman, there is a strong Black man to lead the way. And that is Vincent for our mother.
Yeah, and they really, to me, exemplify like Black love, like the excellence of Black love. And so it's just great to hear, her children talk about him in that light as well. You were going to say something, Ivy?
No, I think what I love most is just the way he genuinely loves her. I think as Black women, there's so many times where it's like, well, I didn't want my mom to be single forever. I knew that. But I think for a child, it was very difficult for me to see somebody else loving on my mom. But the way he loved on her was just so something that I appreciate. Like, I always look at them and I say, I really hope that I have a love like them. To be able to see that and have a foundation and be raised by that, I think that is something that Etienne and I want. We want to emulate in our relationships when we're at that stage in our life, because it's like we can actually see and have a blueprint of what real, passionate, healthy, and safe love really looks like.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, we'll be right back with more from Etienne and Ivy. All right, we're back with Etienne and Ivy Maurice, and we've been having, I think, a very interesting and amazing conversation. So thank you all for joining us. Ivy, you are on your multi-hyphenate flow. You're a social media maven, a model, fashionista, and you're even your mom's stylist, I hear. Is she your toughest client?
You know what? She's actually my greatest client. And I always say that because I know my mom. I know my mom's body. I know my mom's colors. I know her shades. I know what she likes. I know what she doesn't like. And I know that I'm the person to be able to push her out her comfort zone. So she's actually my favorite client because I love spending time with her. I think now that she's an empty nester and Etienne and I are both out the house, I have this opportunity where it's like, I'm not just styling my mom, but I'm creating time with my mom. It's very intentional, even though it's making her look good, but it's making her feel good at the same time. So to be able to have that bond and do it through fashion, I genuinely feel like I'm just playing dress up with my mom, and it's so much fun.
Fabulous.
That's amazing.
Are you more daring fashion-wise, Ivy?
Oh yeah, I definitely am someone who puts her out her comfort zone, but she's the one who's way more daring than I am. I'm a minimalist. I like my beige and nude tones. My mom's favorite color is sparkle. So
I love the diamonds.
Yes,
that she had all
I
over
love
her.
it. I love the
bold, daring. So I love that we are able to give each other that balance.
Beautiful.
Yeah, something that I love is that, fashion is in your DNA. Etienne, you talked about your grandmother, Ivy, but she was a fashion designer who actually created the Kariba suit, right? Am I saying that right? Kariba?
Yes.
Yes. So what have you learned from her legacy as a stylist yourself?
I mean, I grew up in Jamaica in my grandmother's shop, waking up at 5 o'clock every morning, learning how to cut and sew. It's really a part of who I am. Like, I don't think that I would be a stylist. I wouldn't have a sense of fashion if it wasn't for my grandmother. Hence, our name is the same. So I don't know if my mother did that intentionally, but it's being able to carry on that legacy and being able to know who and what I am rooted in, and to know that like there's so much history in our family and that we have the power to really carry that forward and do it in a new way. Because the millennial generation, we've got social media, the way we're able to maximize our talents is completely different compared to what our parents and grandparents have been able to do. So I love being able to carry on this torch and say, hey, I'm here and I am lighting the way and not burning bridges, being able to do what I do. So I'm grateful, very, very grateful.
Etienne, so you're an actor, a filmmaker, and the founder of Walk Good Productions. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, so Walk Good Productions is my production company. I went to school for film, and after graduating, I started Walk Good Productions. And throughout my filmmaking journey and directing, and obviously being inspired by my mother, being in the industry, I wanted to then pivot and focus more on wellness and well-being and community. And so during time of the Black Lives Matter movement and social uprising of the Black Lives Matter movement 2 years ago, started Walk Good LA. Walk Good LA is the nonprofit arm. We are a family that brings people together from all walks of life to fight for racial equity through arts, health, and wellness. And we host a weekly yoga class every Sunday here in Los Angeles called Breathe Good. I'm also a yoga instructor. Now is the most important time to focus on our mental health and well-being, given all the trauma that we've experienced throughout our lifetime, throughout generations. We've always been included in the conversation of fighting, but we have never been included in the conversation of healing. So now as we are ascending into a new generation of people, we have to focus on our health as well. So that is what Walk Good is.
Now tell us how do we tap into that? Because I'm drawn in. I'm just
I'm about to fall out my seat.
How do I get in? How do I get in?
Follow us at Walk Good LA for all of our experiences that we offer in Los Angeles. We're soon gonna be going on a tour. We're gonna be taking our yoga classes and our wellness experiences all across the US. Walk Good is a Jamaican euphemism. It means to take care, be good to yourself, but most importantly, be good to others. Is something that our grandmother would tell us every time we leave the house. So, Walk Good is a living, breathing homage to our Jamaican heritage and the Black lives that have been taken from us from generations.
And you can support our merchandise by Walk Good Wear. So if you're interested,
You gotta get some of that.
You gotta swag me out.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes, I got you. I'll make sure to get your address after we're done.
Yeah, we gotta be on.
What is next for the both of you? Any projects you want to shout out, and where can we see your work?
Yes, I have a short film on Issa Rae's platform called A Backyard in Baldwin Hills, directed and written by my brother, Dennis Williams, executive produced and starring myself and a few other familiar faces. You can catch that on YouTube. It's free and open for the public. But most importantly, Walk Good is the lifestyle. We like to say Walk Good is not a moment, it's a movement, and take care of yourself, be good to yourself.
Well, y'all have inspired us today. I want to say thank you both so much for joining us. You are so inspirational and amazing. We wish you all the best. We want to stay connected with you. So thank you all so much for being with us, Etienne and Ivy. We'll be right back with more on the Sharpton Sisters.
We have a very special guest.
Our honorary auntie, Bevy Smith.
Walk Good.
Walk good.
Walk
Good.
Good.
Bye.
Love yourself. Love yourself.
Bye.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Today we've been talking about how it gets greater later. And who better to talk to about this very topic than our honorary auntie, Bevy Smith.
We spoke in depth with her about starting over, conquering fears, and why it's never too late to chase your dreams. Check it out.
I love seeing you guys, and
We
I
are
love that you have this platform.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for doing this.
Auntie Bevy, one of the phrases that you've become known for is, it gets greater later. Can you tell us more about this?
Well, it gets greater later is a mantra that I adopted when I decided to change my life at the age of 38. I quit my job at Rolling Stone magazine, where I was a really successful fashion advertising executive. And I decided I wanted to have a career in entertainment in front of the camera. And, I had to kind of believe in myself, because not very many other people believed in me. And, also television is a young woman's game. You can age in television. Barbara Walters famously worked until she was in her 70s, I believe even, 80 years old. So you can age in television, but traditionally women have always started out in TV young, in their 20s, straight out of college. And here I was trying to break into television at the age of 38 and not doing it via reality TV, because you can do reality TV at whatever age, but to come into a television career as someone who is a host was very unheard of at that time in 2005. And so I adopted that mantra and that affirmation and that prayer, it gets greater later, to just shore myself up, bolster up my confidence, and just a belief that I could make this happen. And I'm happy to say it actually panned out. I did it. And so I now know for sure that it gets greater later.
Yes.
Auntie, what is your best piece of advice for those who want to start over in their life?
Wow, starting over is something that I always advise people to do. You don't want to be stuck in a rut. No one wants to just phone it in. Life is for the living. And if you're not experiencing new things on a constant basis, then what are we doing, right? So for me, I always advise people to shake it up. Now, that doesn't mean you need to go and quit your good job. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean you need to go and divorce your husband. It doesn't mean you have to do extreme things, but you can find little tiny entry points in life to just make subtle changes. But you will see that even the smallest change can really have big effects on the way your life looks and the way it feels.
Absolutely.
Next question is twofold. Why do you think starting over is so terrifying? And do you think that there's any merit to the fears about starting over?
Well, change is scary, but I believe the change will do you good. But for, most of us, we're taught that, change is not a good thing. And especially when you're talking about Black people, African-American people that, have worked really hard and strived really long and hard for, centuries to get to a certain place in life. So change has always been scary for us because change has represented oftentimes upheaval in our lives, and often upheaval that we didn't have any say in, right? Fear of change and upheaval is in our DNA. We fear that because centuries now, change has been foisted onto us. We haven't had the agency to say, I want to change my life.
Yeah, when you said that, it just brought me to, reminded me to the first time I actually encountered you in person, Miss Bevy Smith. I mean, I call you Auntie Bevy now, but when I first saw you in person, you were moderating this panel that I was on in Miami, Florida for this big conference. I was in my early 20s and I had just started really speaking out publicly. And I was scared. I ain't even gonna lie, I was scared. I was like, oh my goodness, Bevy Smith is moderating this panel. I'm researching, what am I gonna say, doing all of this stuff. And I remember encountering you and you looked at me and you were just like, baby, breathe, breathe. And you made me feel so comfortable, so at ease. You did your thing like only Miss Bevy Smith can do. But, you made me feel comfortable and a part of what was going on, I saw you and I said, wow, this is amazing. I could do this, you know what I mean? And here we are. Ashley and I are doing this. So you've always been really an inspiration to me. So we want to know, we keep up with you and everything that you do. And, the world knows, you're a radio host, you're an author, a memoir. I mean, I saw you did a TED Talk. I'm like, Miss Bevy, you're everywhere. So what's next?
Oh my God. So this is the best part, Dominique and Ashley. I don't know.
Oh,
How exciting is
I didn't
that?
expect that answer. That's exciting.
what?
I don't know.
Oh my
And honestly,
I like that. That's cool.
And honestly,
Okay.
I don't even care to know. I like that it is the unknown. What I know for sure is that I've built up a really solid brand. My phone rings.
Yeah.
I'm never at a loss for work. And so I am in
Been
this
busy, huh?
Booked and busy.
Yes, I'm booked. Well, not busy. I don't want to be busy. So that's another thing. I'm not interested in hustling, grinding, or being busy. Not at all.
Ooh,
So I like to have a
heard
lot of,
now. Heard
yeah, I
that.
like to have a lot of spare time. It's so funny because I was just on a podcast and I said, I'm the most vacationing bitch that you ever want to meet. I love a vacation far more than I love to work. Work for me is a lovely thing, but I don't want that to consume my life. And I'm letting things come to me.
Thank you so much, so much for being here with us today. We know you got a busy schedule, not busy, but a booked schedule. So we don't want to keep you too long. But thank you so much for everything.
I love you
Thank you
guys.
so much for watching the show.
Congratulations on the Sharpton sisters.
Thank you so much for watching the show. Make sure to catch us next time on the Sharpton Sisters right here on Fox Soul.